Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, welcome you all to yet another Friday vlog of mine. Hey, we've dished out all the posh stuff this time, people. It's none of this cheap phone vlog tonight. Well, it's mainly because I had a decent topic to talk about, and I have a semi-idea that I might throw a bit of footage up. Whether that actually happens or not, I don't know, but it depends how long I talk about a couple of the things on the agenda, people. And also, it's absolutely, if you hear a loud rumbling, people, it's because at the moment there seems to be thunderstorms on and off at the moment. I mean, they're light ones, but there's a big rumble of thunder every now and then it goes sunny for a while, and then we get another big one. It's a bit on and off. So Cafe Steve is not set up outside today. And it is, and you'll all be delighted to know, because I know just how many thousands of you were interested in the Fantasy League. The Premier League starts tonight, so I have, I can't remember whether I mentioned this last week or not, but I decided to make a deal with the devil, finally, after all these years, and get Sky, and it was hooked up for me last week. Engineer came round, fitted a new dish, and a new Sky Q box. It's awesome. The whole thing, just funnily enough, like, all I've done with it so far is watch Netflix, really, and a bit of the transfer deadline stuff, but the pictures just outstanding on the big 55-inch Sony telly I've got. The Netflix streams a lot smoother than it does on the app on the TV, and the whole thing's it's just a dream to use. It's even got, like, on the handset, instead of having to use the sort of text type searching when you're putting letters in to search for a program, you just speak into the handset. You just say, whatever, The Rookie, and it'll bring up episodes of The Rookie or whatever, just whatever. It'll just bring back the search. It's awesome. So you've got, the more they put that into devices, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I love my phone simply for the fact that when I'm driving, I can just say, Siri, play, or, well, normally I do shuffle rock playlist or something like that, and it just, it keeps you totally hands free. I used to have to decide what I was going to play before I went, because I'm really conscious of touching the phone in the car. I don't want to get points. I don't want to get, a fine or anything like that, or worst case scenario, hurt somebody because I wasn't paying attention. And we've all been there, and we've all done it, So anyway, I digress somewhat. How did we get onto phones, people? Oh yes, we're talking into devices. So anyway, my Sky Q is all set up. I've had it for the best part of this week. When did he come? Oh, he came on Monday. Yeah, I've only had it this week, sorry, not last week. He fitted it on Monday. Came Monday morning, hooked it all up, and that's been me ever since, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to the Sport. I mean, the reason I got it now was because the Sport's normally just stupidly expensive, and they're doing a deal for 18 months where it was £45 a month for the full entertainment package. So that's your Sky One, Sky Atlantic, all in HD, the Sky Q box, which is the better of the boxes, and you get a free, this is the massive bonus, you get a Netflix account as well, so you have to pay for that separately. So you can have a basic Netflix account with up to 2 users on it. And I use a lot of Netflix, and I've been using my son's Netflix, so technically I wasn't paying for it, but I did want to get my own account so I can put all my favourites and stuff on it. So it comes with that. So we've got and then I got the Sport as well, and I've got the box sets, because the box sets don't come with the bog standard Sky. So I've got all of the things that I want. I didn't want movies and all that sort of stuff. And then for £45 a month, that's pretty decent. I've realised after 18 months, it'll probably go up to £60, £65 or something. But then I can reevaluate at that point. But last year, I kept buying, because I paid for Now TV for the entertainment anyway. So I was watching it on Now TV. And then every sort of other week, I was paying out for a month's worth of Sport or something. So it'll probably work out cheaper to do it this way, at least for the 18 months. And to be honest, it's such an amazing box and service that I think, it would have to be an extremely awful price for me to come away from it and cancel it. So we'll see how we go anyway. I mean, maybe it will be that I can cut down, because I'm not really interested in any other sport apart from football. So it could be maybe after the 18 months I don't need all of the sports channels which I've got now. Maybe I can just have the football ones or something like that. But anyway, I'm delighted that I've got it. I'm delighted that the Liverpool-Norwich match is on at 8 o'clock this evening, so I'm going to be sitting watching that and chilling with my tunes and just generally chilling out, people. Do you know what we've forgotten to do? Flagons up to you all! It is Flagons Up Friday, people. I nearly couldn't say it there for a second. And I've only been having a couple of sips. This is, in fact, my first one. I'm going to have a few sips before we get going, people. We do have something to talk about in the world of games, people. Yes, we do. You know I'd buy you one if I could, people. If you were here right now, you know I would get you one. You all know this as a fact. Oh, that's delicious, that is. Okay, so we are 10 days away. You nearly did 10 days. 10 days away from Gamescom 2019, people. And it's an interesting one because Sony have decided to turn up and Microsoft are obviously going to be there, and we'll talk a bit more about that as we go. So it's going to be, it's between the 20th and the 24th. So we're 10 days away from the opening extravaganza, and they're doing it a little bit differently. And I found it quite interesting because I don't think that either of the two big, certainly none of the two big names are doing their own press conference as such. What they're doing is they're kind of copying a format from the Games Awards type stuff. And they're going to have like an opening night. And not the companies, this is Gamescom. They're going to have it's called Open Night Live, and it's going to happen on the 19th. But a bit strange that they've got it from the 20th to the 24th, but it's on the 19th. But anyway, it's the opening night, I suppose. So they're obviously having a launch night, and then 20th to the 24th is for the people that are actually there to get hands-on with stuff. So that's fine. And we've got... It's on right. So it said it was 8 p.m. MZST or something. I can't remember what it was, but some weird European thing. But 8 p.m. I googled it, and that is apparently an hour behind. Oh no, BST is an hour behind that. So it's 7 p.m. here. So in the UK, British summertime, it's at 7 p.m. and it is streamed live. Now, the one thing I can't figure out, I found details that said they're going to allow Twitch streamers to stream it on their own channels for people that want to join in with them streaming it. I assume that means YouTube streamers as well. However, I don't know where they're streaming it. I couldn't quite... It didn't seem to say they were streaming it on Twitch. It looks like they're streaming it from their own website, which is a little bit concerning because that's going to be a lot of hits to the one website. But anyway, we'll see nearer the time. It could be, of course, that they're streaming it on YouTube directly, or certainly people like IGN and all that sort of stuff will be streaming the event live. But I kind of like this idea because I think to some extent the press conferences of, I mean, I suppose it's a bit different when it's E3 and it's the big one. You know, I think people expect it to be a massive conference with a whole bunch of stuff gone through. But I think for pretty much everything else, I think an opening night like that is probably great. So basically what's happening is they're going to have a whole host of the people that are actually providing things at the event, whether it be your Microsoft, your Sony, your Ubisoft, whoever. And from what I read, there's going to be over 15 game companies announcing world premiere content. Now, that's not new things that we haven't seen necessarily, but it's just content that we haven't seen before. And of those 15 games companies, all the big ones were in there that you'd expect, with the exception of Blizzard, who aren't going to be there because they're concentrating on development, apparently. So, you know, your Ubisofts, obviously Microsoft and Sony, they have said that Hideo Kojima is definitely going to be making an appearance on stage. So he's definitely going to be there, which means that Death Stranding is most certainly going to be there. So it's an interesting one that Sony think that it's worth turning out for that, but not turning out for E3. I don't know the reasoning behind that. Maybe they just felt that E3 was too big an event for what they had left to push at the time that they would need to push it. And I think a lot of people are going to get quite excited about... Okay, before I move on. So that's basically the format, because I was going to break down... I'm not going to go through everybody that's there, and because I couldn't find that amount of information on it anyway. The companies that are there I could kind of find, but really I was more interested in the fact that Sony and Xbox were going to be there, and just a couple of points on that. But so yeah, so I'm certainly going to be watching the opening night live if I can find it. It's a good time for us. Normally the E3 stuff's at stupid o'clock in the morning because it's in the States, so it's their turn. So if you're in the States, you can sit up till stupid o'clock, unless you're in a state that doesn't have that bad a time difference from us. It's weird in America, isn't it? It's like it can be either, I think the least amount of time it can be out in America is 5 hours. I could be wrong. There might be a 4-hour one, but I think it's 5 hours. And then there's maybe a 6 and a 7 and an 8 or something like that. It depends where you are in the time zones of America. But there is a time zone, I'm sure, that's 5 hours. I don't think there's one less than that. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, people. There's plenty of you from the States there. Cool, blimey, I needed that, people. I'm now mouth dry already. So that's the format that it's going to crack off with. And Sony attending is going to push up a massive question so far as... Now, I don't think this is going to happen, and I'll tell you for why. So basically, a lot of people are getting awfully excited, like, oh my god, Sony's first appearance on stage for the whole year. Are they going to talk about the PS5? Are they going to be showing us The Last of Us Part 2? Well, I mean, for my liking, I'm not overly convinced they're going to be talking about PS5 or The Last of Us Part 2. And the reason for that, or there's two reasons for that. It's Death Stranding and The Ghost of Tsushima, both of which I believe will be out. Well, we know that Death Stranding's out in November. And so, we're not going to see The Last of Us Part 2 until next year at some point. I still firmly believe that The Last of Us Part 2 will be the very last thing that Sony pushes out on the PS4. And it will be buy it for the PS4, fine, but if you buy a PS5 with, and get it for the PS5, then you'll get it in 4K with, and it'll just be a more uber version of it, because it will be capable of playing it at a higher, because it's all back compat, isn't it, on the next two? They've already said that. So it'll be the same game. It'll be the PS, well, maybe not. Maybe they'll actually box it as a PS5 version, but I don't know how it'll work. No, I don't think they will. No, I don't think they will. They won't box it as a PS5. They will box it as a PS4 game, but they will, there'll be enhancements to it, much like there is now that it's Pro enhanced. It'll be PS5 enhanced so that you can play it at Uber version, better frame rates or something like that. That's the way that I believe that game will launch. It'll be the very last thing on this console, and it will cross over onto the launch of the PS5, because it's just the biggest title they have at this point in time. You can say all you like about Death Stranding or any of their other titles, but Naughty Dog is the king of the Sony world, and most certainly for my liking, The Last of Us was the best game they've ever done ever. So, and probably my favourite game of all time. So I can't wait for that, but it will be the last thing they push out. Why would they push it now? And why would they talk about the PS5 now when they want all of their focus on Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding? Certainly Death Stranding. A, because it's Hideo Kojima. B, because it's a new IP. And they want all the focus on that game. So I think we'll see more of Death Stranding. I think we'll see more gameplay of Death Stranding that we haven't seen before. Ghost of Tsushima needs attention, because I might throw some... as I say, I might have put a little montage of footage up behind this, but I can't remember. I've got a couple of images of Ghost of Tsushima, and the rest of it's getting smelted together with Sekiro from the footages that we saw before those games came out. I remember I was sort of one-on-one standoff with another sort of bossy type character. I remember the character jumping on roofs and stuff, but again, that is all kind of Sekiro-esque. So, I need to see what this game is giving us. It seems to be an open world type thing, but we don't know. We've not seen enough of it. So it's going to be really interesting to see where Ghost of Tsushima lands. And I think its biggest downfall is going to be that Sekiro came first. Its biggest upside is that people that want to play in that kind of world, it won't be as horrific to play as Sekiro is. So I suspect it'll be something that you can enjoy in that world rather than something that makes you throw your controller out the window in that kind of world. So that might be its selling factor. But yeah, I think it needs a lot of attention and love now, because it's not being punted very heavily at all. It could be that it's needed delayed or whatever, but I don't think they ever gave a release date for it anyway. But we kind of saw it ages ago, possibly even an E3 ago from the one we've just had, and we haven't really seen it ever since. So yeah, I'm really curious as to what's going on with that game. I still firmly believe, however, they're going to finish on a high with The Last of Us Part 2, and I don't see any reason why they would be pushing that sort of content out on Gamescom. The other reason I don't think they'll push it out on Gamescom is because they need a massive, exciting boost for their own thing that they do in December time, which is the PSX thing yearly. And if they're going to push The Last of Us Part 2 at any point, it will be that, because that's in December, and it's after the Death Stranding launch. So that would make far more sense to be holding off any Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2, people. We always forget the. And if you leave it till December, you're not interfering with Death Stranding. Okay, you might interfere with Ghost of Tsushima, but, you know, we don't really know what's going on with that game. You know, it is what it is. But so I'm going to be really interested to see what they push at Gamescom, because it was like, there's no point in us turning up at E3 because we don't really have anything that we want to push at this point in time. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows the PS5's coming. Everybody, you know, so it's so why Gamescom was a suitable venue? Probably because they don't have to do the massive own conference. Probably because they do want to push Death Stranding now, because November's creeping up. We're into August now, September, October. You've got 2 months now after this one, and then you've got people wanting to buy the game. So I kind of get it. It makes sense for them to turn up, not have the hassle of having to do a massive conference, but just be part of the opening night, let Hideo Kojima come on stage, talk about it, blah, 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 blah. So it makes perfect sense to me. But I really do want to know what's happening with Ghost of Tsushima, and I figure Last of Us Part 2, honestly, that game's going to get all the love it needs. They could never talk about that game again. In the minute it launches, it will sell a gazillion copies. So, they'll show us more of that when they're ready to show us more of that. But Ghost of Tsushima needs some love and attention. If they've got any plan of releasing that game before The Last of Us Part 2, then that game needs to start getting a massive amount of love, because it's kind of faded away into the background a fair bit. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. For me, it's going to be, here's a bunch of Death Stranding. Maybe they'll have a really brief focus on the PS5. This is what you can hope for in the hardware side of it, like Microsoft did with the Scorpio, what was it? Whatever the new one's called. Project blah. And, you might get a touch of that, but I'm still not convinced, because, for my liking, if Ghost of Tsushima is coming out of that before The Last of Us Part 2, then, absolutely push it here, But you're taking part in somebody else's live event, so if all you need to do is come on and talk about Death Stranding, then that's all you need to do. Microsoft, on the other hand, moving away from Sony, we don't really have as much to talk about, but their plans are that they are going to... They're doing an Inside Xbox episode on the 19th, I think, before the opening night live. I think it was the 19th. And then they're doing the open night live. They will have something on stage. I expect that to be heavily Gears 5, because that game is launching on 10th of September. Now, I'm going to be getting Gears 5 because I love the Gears games anyway. And my Craigie boy and his brother John, I think we're going to be up for a bit of multiplayer on that, because that's what we used to do back in the day. It was an easy thing to jump into and just chat to each other, have a bit of a laugh and stuff. So we're looking at doing a bit of that action. So I think I'll certainly be getting that at launch. And I like seeing the stories through anyway. I enjoyed the last one. It was a spectacular game. For me, it's still the best looking Xbox game that I've seen for the Xbox One. It was absolutely stunning on the... Did I play that on the... Yeah, it was. I played that. First time I played that was on the Gears 4 was on the Xbox One X. And it was stunning in 4K. I mean, it's just beautiful. Really, really stunning game. So, yeah, I expect to see that on the open night live. And then it said they've got 200 booths. It's like, when you're dealing with a company that's just got pockets that are infinitively deep. It's like infinitely, Stephen, speak properly. Infinitely deep pockets that it doesn't really money's just 200 booths. And I I suspect a lot of that's going to be Gears 5, getting people hands-on with it. But there'll be a whole bunch of other stuff there. But 200 booths at a live place, it's just crazy. So they're going all out, Microsoft, at the minute. I mean, I've said it once and I'll say it 100 times. I love Phil Spencer, and I love the way that he has dragged that product back from oblivion more than anything, and made it a viable. Made it my favourite console. The Xbox One X is my favourite console. Does it hold my favourite games? No, it does not. But it holds the favourite place for me to play. It's beautifully quiet. It's twice as powerful. It does everything better. It does the Xbox back compats. It does... I mean, I say everything better before all the PlayStation people start firing at me. Yes, I know not all games have been upgraded for it. Dragon Age, for example, has not been upgraded to play at 1080p and stuff like that. But that, you know, what I'm saying is it does everything better, much more. It does everything 4 times better than the original Xbox One did. And it does everything in true... Well, it does the games that are enhanced for it in true 4K and all these sorts of things. I mean, all right, Dragon Age Inquisition isn't in 1080p, but it plays beautifully in its frames per second. Certainly, when I played Dragon Age Inquisition on the PS4, not the Pro, but on the PS4, it played beautifully, don't get me wrong, but there was a section, and I haven't got to this section in Dragon Age Inquisition on the Xbox, so it'll be interesting to see if it does it. But there was a section in the PS4 one, and it was, I think it was the area where there's like a little elvish sort of community with wagons and stuff, and there was a big forest area around it, but the forest area had sort of mist across it that moved all the time. And these are the areas where this happens, because you've got this moving environment. And it's Screen Tour. When I was running around it, Screen Tour was the only area it did it in, to be fair. But you know my bugbear with screen tearing people. But it was there on the PS4. So, and that's one of the things. Like if you have an area that is stressing, if you drop your image quality, say to 900p, which I think is what the Sony one's playing at, the Microsoft one's playing at, then that stress is taken off, because you don't have to match that quality when you're panning the camera around. And for me, just me, and people are different, but I would rather have no screen tearing and a slightly lesser visual quality than have screen tearing on my screen. Because, I mean, I'm playing Dragon Age now at 900p on the Xbox One X, and it's gorgeous. On my 55-inch 4K telly, it is stunning. Would I be any happier if it was 1080p and had screen tearing in one of the areas? No, I wouldn't, because it just grates me that every time I see it, it's just like, it just annoys me. So, you know, but each to their own. I mean, you know, some folk would probably rather see it in 1080p and have screen tearing. I don't know, but for me, I'd rather have a smooth pan, a smooth frame rate, take the stress off a little bit, you know. If you can do 900p, why can't you do 1000p? Just, you know, even if you have to take an 80 off of it, just rein it in a bit. I've talked about this before. I've had whole vlogs about screen tearing. But anyway. So there you are. I ramble on now. I'm going off on one. That's about all I had to talk about, really. It was all about Gamescom. I didn't want to go into it too in depth. As I researched it, anyway, I was kind of like, some of the stuff's not clear anyway. No one's exactly sure what's happening. Everyone knows who's there. Their own website is a bloody nightmare, though. It's really nice and friendly and stuff. But if you I just wanted to go on and say what's happening and at what time, and there was just nothing there. It was like they had millions of things to click on, and nothing that just said, here's what's happening in this particular bit. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's a PDF or something you've got to download, but you would think it would be the number one thing there. Just like the number one thing in your face is like, here's where everybody is at what time. But maybe it's because it's not conferences and it's all booths and stuff, and it's just the open night live, because they've not really got presentations to put times to. I guess is maybe why it's not there, because of this new format they're doing. Anyway, you'll be glad to know that I'm not going to talk about fantasy football anymore, because the cut-off time is 7 o'clock, and by the time this is up, that'll be past, because the Liverpool game's on at 8 o'clock, and the new season will have begun. And for all of you that are joining in, I think there's a few people from the channel joining in, not a massive amount, but a couple of you I think are there. So welcome. I've only got the one league now. I dumped the joystick league one because there was only 2 people that joined in with me. So I thought, well, there's no point. So I dumped that and just told people in a community message. I just said, just come and join my main one, the Predictorists. So there you are. And we shall see what happens in the gaming world this week. Channel-wise, I was going to mention, because you'll notice I haven't been posting up Let's Plays. I'm just in a place where I'm happy doing other stuff at the minute as far as Let's Plays go. And I have every intention of coming back to them. But at the moment, I'm on with other things outside. I honestly haven't touched a console in 2 weeks. I think I just burnt out from... I don't know. I've taken breaks from time to time, but I don't know. I just for the last 2 weeks, I've just felt like I played 3 weeks ago. I played off camera. I played the Quantic Dream lot, didn't I? I played Heavy Rain. I played because my son got me the new one, Detroit. So then I went after finishing Detroit. I went and played Heavy Rain. After Heavy Rain, I went and played Beyond Two Souls off camera. So I did all of that off cam, and I played a bit of Destiny off cam. So I played all of that, and then for the last 2 weeks, I haven't done anything. I haven't played anything. Haven't even touched the console other than to watch a bit of Now TV, and I've not even done that since Monday because I've now got Sky. So I've just I've obviously just burnt myself out with it. We'll get back to it, people. I have every intention of coming back to Dragon Age Inquisition. It's really popular. People are loving watching me play it. It's spurred a lot of people on to play it themselves again. So... which is fantastic. So I have every intention of coming back and playing some more stuff. It's just at the moment, if you people are more than happy for me to come back every Friday and give you a little bit of a vlog like this, then hopefully that'll keep us all connected for the time being. I still want to hear all of your comments about what you're getting on with, and if this is the one video that I'm doing a week at the moment, then please do leave me some comments. This channel is all about me communicating with you guys. So, let me know what you think of Gamescom. What are you looking forward to? Do you think The Last of Us Part 2 will be there? Do you think they'll talk about the PS5? Let me know in the comments below. Anything, people. Just talk to me. This is why this channel is here. This channel actually did not start as a Let's Play channel. It started as a channel to do this and talk to you guys and just do a little bit of footage from time to time and share it. It kind of just turned into a Let's Play. I don't know why. I think it was... I don't know. I can't even tell you exactly at what point it turned into a Let's Play. I did the Arcania a long time ago. Then Divinity came along and I did that. And I think it just progressively grew into that. But, you guys enjoy me doing it. And when I'm in the zone, I love doing it as well, because I do love the sound of my own voice, people. We all know that now. Me thinking out loud to myself is a little piece of heaven, Anyway, I ramble on. Flagons up to you all once again. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you once again in this vlog of mine, and I shall see you all next time. Take it easy, folks. Bye.